Good morning, Rav Boisai. Nishmat
Hayoim, Arba Shleshim Yoim, Shahim, Arba Shuvois, Vishisha Yomim, Ba'imer or La'imer.
Shalom Aleichem to all the guests. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Mendy Sable from Muncie. What's your name?
My name?
Yeah. Shalom Aleichem, Herb. It's the first time this year, so we're just asking that you lower it a little bit. What's your name? Okay. What do we have? Oh, there's your heist in the back over there, in the Hasidic section. Yoeli, you're Yoeli from where? I'm not going to say where he's from because last time I mentioned his name out loud, he got there, they almost beat him up. Who's the tzaddik next to you? What's your name? Aharon Shprintzeles? Berech. Okay, from? Monticello, New York. You're going to be there by the live shir? Be'ez Hashem. Okay, who else do we have here? Oh, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Lenny Bronner. Go sit with the Hasidim, please. What is this? Pirud. The Medana Shechevin over there, the Hasidic Shechevin over here, the Litvaks in the middle. Okay, fine. No, you're not Medana. Where are you from?
Upper West Side.
Yes, the Upper West Side. Maybe the first time.
For 3 years, and no one from Menachem.
You've been watching for 3 years?
Almost.
From Yavamas. Wow. Did you know anybody else in the Upper West Side that watches the shir or not really? Couple. Shvach and Mice in the Upper West Side. They do the daf or they don't even do it? They do it the other guy, huh? Those Upper West Siders. Rabbi said, check this out. This is in the Jewish Views this week. This is not an advertisement. They asked over there, what is your favorite MDY prop? Here it is. Many different people. A few people said the lion. Just thinking like, that was Mamash Geshmak, the lion. We brought a prop for no, it had nothing to do with the Gemara B'chlal. My favorite was the shchita / also the fish with the blood. My favorite is from Hagoyin Agadol Rav Nachman Seltzer. I love Yoshi. He's an amazing person. He changed the whole shir. Mamash a gewaldige guy. Unbelievable. Yishkoyach Rav Nachman for all the support. Herb. Wow. Okay, next. We got a few emails. I'll just read them quickly. This is the gist of the email. Aguten, I heard you mention yesterday about Shragi. Gestetner, I think you forgot to mention, and I did, and I want to make a big deal out of it. The most important part, that he left singing because he felt the fame was getting to him, and he wasn't able to learn Torah, spend enough time with his family. Thanks for everything. Dear Rav Eli, from Ritzin Gruber from New Square, will be a Torah for Shragi's Neshama if you tell the Oilam the following. One day Shragi had his soiros reflected upon his life and future chinuch of his children, decided to give up his lucrative career and went into the Beis HaMedrash to learn. At first he didn't know how to learn, so he hired a Rebbe to teach him how to learn. It was very difficult. I know people who remember how difficult it was for him, and I remember hearing the story last year. He didn't have any parnasa nor havana. He prayed and prayed. One day the floodgates opened and started making siyumim one after another. Even after launching a successful business, he continued learning most of the day. Maybe remember not for his voice, but his sacrifice for Torah. Been seeing Gruber, New Square. Beautiful. Mom is beautiful. So now we all know. Hi, Rav Eli, wanted to say shkoyach for all the good work. Baruch Hashem, with the help of your amazing shurim and Reb Peretz Chaim Levine, helping out with the banners, the Gemaras. We got a total of 13 new MD wires. Yesterday, Peretz Chaim Levine's name was the first one on my list. I didn't even mention him because he sponsored the shir in the beginning. I said his name. I didn't mention the other person that sponsored the Nishmat, but obviously they were part of that list as well. Helping out with the banners, Gemaras, we got a total of 13 new MD wires. As of now, we have 3 new members who committed to learn Gita with Rav Eli. Listen to this one. Mil Hashem LaMDY. I'll be flying out there to Sholom Frankel Shabbos and hoping to Mir Hashem catch a shir in RBS in person. Your Talmud, Shaul Sharabi. Rabbi, so listen to this. I'm a Satmar Chussid from Williamsburg. And we have one in the back over there who's scared. The mom is scared. It says like this. Before I start my email, I just want to say this. There's no need to read this, but if you do, please, in bold, please do not mention my name. Okay, Shrager Friedman, I'm not going to mention your name. I'm a Satmar Chussid from Williamsburg. No, that's not his name. That's not his name. Yeah, the guy striking Freeman. He doesn't watch the shir, so he deserves to get beat up. Okay, I've been following your shir since the beginning of Sotah, and I'm very much enjoying every single day of it. It's very geschmack. And if I may say so, it's fun to learn with you. It's hard to say that word, fun and Torah. Would still want to know what you end up selling your RV for. I love the story about you woke up your friend in the bunk with a horse. And of course, all you're saying is geschmack way learning that so much. I was blown away by the story of the guy who donated money. Last year, like his daughter's having children. I have a sister who isn't married for 11 years and started no kids yet. Last week I donated $350 for new Gemaras. Now I'm adding $650 to round it up to $1,000. Yishkoyach, I can't even say his name. Schus, my sister and brother-in-law, I did not write this email. Their names are Avraham Dovid ben Golda Liba, and I don't know, the Schus maybe, the Zayin is the Schus, Miriam Fego Shendel Bas Yehudis. I'm attaching a snip of both credit card charges. May Hashem grant you koyach gezint to be able to continue your holy work for many years to come. All the best. And finally, we have a guy in Miron. And I remember this exact spot in Miron. That's why I stopped going there. But believe it or not, there's order this year. Check this out. Nobody's moving. Nobody's pushing. And the reason is there's a guy on a microphone. And check this out. It's very cool. You ready with some volume? They're not going. You see, nobody's moving. Huh? The screens are off. You have to beg, you have to plead. Didn't come easy. It's one of the hardest ones ever.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
Yosef. Gewaldig. Rabbi Sai. The Koil is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. The Sotah is sponsored by Eli Stefansky, Nishmat, Menachem Toporowitz, Menachem Mendel, Yevlach, Yehושע, Dovid, Toporowitz. Parnas HaChodesh Nishmat Zechariah bas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh Nishmat Zechariah ben Moshe. Parnas HaChodesh Nishmat Eliyahu ben Yosef Menachem Mendel. Parnas HaYom. The Price family, Lili Nishmat, Dr. Clifton Price, Akiva ben Avraham. By Avraham Garfinkel, MD, on the yahrzeit of Murray Garfinkel of Monticello, New York, Moshe ben Dovid Benyamin. Aharon Shprintzeles. That's the name, Shprintzeles. Shprintzeles. Shaindel Rivka, Miro Bas, Miriam Razel, maybe. Oh, sorry. Let's start from this side. Zera Shakayama Bekariv, Aharon Eliyahu ben Rivka Chaya Fega, and Shaindel Rivka Miro Bas, Miriam Razel. Yanky Kleinberger, in honor of my daughter's bat mitzvah. Sholom Frankel, Leah Belo Bas Soramalka. Tzali Fortgang, in honor of my wife Ora on our 22nd anniversary. Ora is my biggest fan and support of MDY Journey. That's that's the father of Fortgang. What's the book that used to come here? No. For complete refuah, the art is for the complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. Rabbi Eli, we're holding Daf Mem Aleph Amud Beis. Again, I got it to Gemara. We'll have to pick up the pace a little bit. This is not a question for the people sitting over here because I'm scared that you know the answer. For everybody else, who was Goliath's, the famous Goliath that fought with David HaMelech? Who was his mother? Okay, the Eilam knows. The Eilam knows. Okay. Next question. Fine. Zok the Gemara. We're holding 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 lines from the bottom. Simon. Af. Ubar. We're talking about Chanufa, to flatter somebody, to give somebody compliments for the wrong reason. We finished off yesterday. Af. That flattery causes anger. And now we're going to go to Ubar, even a baby in the stomach. Yehenem, Biyadoi, Nida, Goyla. Even fetuses in the mother's stomach curse him. So you say to a Rasha, you lie to a Rasha, you tell him, oh, you're such a tzaddik. You see that's the concept of Chanufa, is to tell a Rasha that he's a tzaddik, but to be machnef to your friend, to be machnef to your Talmud, to be machnef to your Rebbe, to be machnef to your wife, is okay. So the pasuk says Yikvuam means a curse. By Bilam. So you see that the ubar, the fetus curses. At the end of the day, the Machlekes Rishonim, Benyamin says that it's Issa Deraisa to be machnef to a Rasha, even b'shas sakana. He says like segur mipnei ish. Other Rishonim like Tosfos hold that when there's a sakana and the Rasha is there, so you could be machnef him in order to get out of it. Ve'omar Rebbe Lazar. So this is the next thing in the Siman. We had Gehenim kol adam sheyesh b'chanufa noivel b'gehenim. He'll end up in Gehenim shenemar hoy oimrim l'rat toiv l'toivra. They say for bad is good and good is bad. Moksiv achrov lochen gechol kash l'shoin eish v'chashash l'hava yirpeh. So you fall into Gehenim as this pasuk right over here. Lochen gechol kash. It says shorshim kamok yeo firchum kavak yal. Fine. It's lashon. End up in Gehenim. So you think that you're doing good, you think you're going to get out of a situation, you're going to be machnef him. I'm just thinking now, when I was a bacher, many years ago, I read the famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It must have been like 16, 17 years old. I loved the book. It was a Geschmacka book by Dale Carnegie. And Lamaisa, I'm thinking now that most of the book is chanufa. How to lie to people to make them like you. What? Manipulation, right. Chanufa and manipulation, which we're saying that Be'etzim is mutter if you're doing it for good reasons. You want that guy to be a friend. You want the guy to. As always, match from Rishonim. I'm saying from Rishonim. It says Mefurish. That I said yesterday in Archas Tzadikim. It says Mefurish. You're allowed to be machnef to somebody that he should pay you back. He shouldn't beg you for the money. Different things. But Lamais at the end of the day, I think he committed suicide. He had no friends. They say with all the things. How to win friends, and the guy what? My wife's. I'm not going to say who, wrote a book, how to get a job, and it sold thousands of copies. It's on Amazon. He never had a job in his life. Bemis. You know him. You met him. What? Yeah, like Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus. The guy got married 5-6 times or something. 8 times. At the end of the day, you machnef to the guy, you flatter him, you're going to fall to him. And if you don't fall to him, you fall to his son. If you don't fall to his son, you fall to his grandson. We see in the pasuk. Chananya was a Navi Sheker, he lied, and he said, they're going to give back, don't worry, we're not going to go to Gullus. They're going to give back all the Kalim to Beis HaMikdash. So Yirmiyah Navi said, Amen. Halavai, it should happen. But he's machnef him. Instead of saying, you're a liar, your nevuah is a nevuah sheker, Tzadi, you don't have to sit all the way in the back. We have a couple of extra seats here. I'm not going to pick on you, I promise. Here, come. There's 2-3 seats here. So, what happened was, Yirmiyah should have said, you're a liar. He didn't say you're a liar. He said, yeah, halavai, like, as if your nevuah is the emes nevuah, halavai should happen. And at the end, Yirmiyah got punished by his grandson. Hashem should do exactly what you said and bring back the Kalim of the Beis HaMikdash. Tab, Uchsiv, Membeis Amud Aleph on top. B'shar Benyamin, Yirmiyah is in Shar Benyamin. B'sham Baal Pekido is Shmoi, Yiriyah, Ben Shlemiyah, Ben Chananya. Why does it go bother and say who Yiriyah's father and grandfather is? Because to tell you that came from Chananya. It's because Yirmiyah was machnef to Chananya. And he grabbed him. I'm going to throw you to the Kazdim, to the enemy. I'm not going to. They brought him. Fine. End of the day, they threw him to a dungeon, into a pit, and the oynish came from the grandson of the person he was machnef. So don't be machnef. It's not kedai. If a congregation has flattery, musa kanida, it's disgusting like a nida. Shenema, why is a nida disgusting? The Gemara can explain. Shenema ki adas choniv galmud. You're gonna be by yourself. She can't be karchayom koyim lenida galmuda. She's by herself. My galmuda gumula mebayla. She's separated from her husband. The whole congregation will end up having to go to Golos. Ksiv hacha ki adas choniv galmud. Ksiv hasam v'matbel v'veich. Arba kitois ein mekadosh pnei shchina. The 4 groups of people that don't see the shchina. What's amazing about these 4 groups, if you pay attention, they all have to do with their mouth. Kat leitzim, people that say leitzonos. Leitzonos means to mock Yiddishkeit. Make fun of Rabbanim, make fun of Torah and Mesorah. Just machavek. The Katz chanefim, these are the people we just discussed, the flatterers. The Kat shkarim, those who lie. The Kat misapri loshen hara. Mamish pachat b'chadim, no? All four are chatoim that have to do with the mouth. Kat leitzim d'chsiv moshach yodai es leitzim. Hashem pulls his hand kavyochel from the let. Kat chanefim d'chsiv kiloi lefonav chanef yavai. A chanef won't come in front of Hashem. Kat shakarim d'chsiv doiver shkarim leyikoin leneged einai. Won't be in front of my eye. Kat misapri loshen hara d'chsiv kiloi el chafetz rosha ota resha ota lo yigurcha ra. Tzadik ata Hashem lo yigur b'migurcha ra. We have to see the pasuk to understand a little bit better. It says right before, "Kein befiu nechayna kirbam havois kever pasuach groinam." Their neck is an open grave. L'shonim yachlikun. So we're talking about people that they smooth talkers. L'shonim yachlikun. Sit over here. I don't want you that close, but for today, come to the line. All right. So you see that lashon hara also. You're not going to live it. You're not going to dwell here. Hadran aloch elu ne'emarim, hadran aloch elu ne'emarim, hadran aloch elu ne'emarim. Menachem, come. Finally, I get to say hello to you, Avraham. I got to turn around and say hello. This individual, this Tzali, first of all, is the best Balkaira that I know of. I'm sure there's many others. He doesn't do Yosef. But in Lamaisa, he gave many shiurim, and him and Noam gave many shiurim in the days before I was going from the streak. Now I'm on a streak. But okay, shkoyach, thank you. You guys you're happy, but you're not happy. There's good and bad for everything. Okay. Brand new Mishnah, brand new Sugya. Brand new sponsor. Oh, I don't have that sponsor. Who's the sponsor? Moshe Cohen. Givaldik. Rabbi say, this is the Meshuach Milchama. Literally anointed with oil. You first the Kayan, whoever it is, pours it on. This is an individual who we're not familiar with. He's not a Kayan Gadol. He's not a Sgan Kayan. His job is one job. He rallies up the troops at war. He's a good Muslim guy. He knows how to do it. Oh, Rabbi Folder's here. Shalom Aleichem, without the beard. Now I recognize you. Okay. The other thing is, after the machloikis, you pour the oil on the head first, and then he smears like this, or it's like this, and then pour. Here, Yoshi did something like this. Just a Meshuach Milchama. Pour it this way. I don't know exactly what he's doing here. Oh, and it goes to he's trying to show, it goes to the back of the neck. Okay. So now we know Meshuach Milchama. Meshuach Milchama. Okay? The anointed Kohen. Again, we're going into Agadah there. This is easy sugyas. When they're going out to war, so this is the continuation of the mission that we had, the things that you could only say in Lashon HaKodesh, and the things that you could say in any language. This was only in Lashon HaKodesh, and we'll see why. Shenemar v'hoya kikar v'chem el ha-milchama v'nigash ha-koyin ze koyin meshuach milchama v'diber la'am, and he spoke to the nation b'lashon ha-kodesh. He spoke in Lashon HaKodesh. V'amar aleim Shema Yisrael. Now, don't think it's Shema Yisrael that we're saying. V'amar aleim Shema Yisrael. He uses the word Shema Yisrael, but look what he keeps on saying. Don't fear, al tiru, al tachbezu, al tartzu mipneim, 4 lashonos of don't fear, don't, all these lashonos of fear. But he uses the lashon Shema Yisrael, the Gemara is going to say why Shema Yisrael. And that's what we learned yesterday, Shim Bayachai. You should know you're going to war with your enemy. But not with your brethren. Lo Yehuda al Shimon, v'lo Shimon al Benyamin. We're not going from Shevet Yehuda to war on Shevet Shimon, v'lo Shimon al Benyamin. Unfortunately, in Klal Yisrael, there were many wars between brothers, civil wars, as we even have today. But this is not a civil war. This is a war with the enemy. I was thinking when I was in Borough Park, 2 weeks ago, and sitting on the stage, looking down. It was a very emotional time because, a lot of people, and people I've never saw before, mostly. And one thing that really hit me, you look in the audience, there was a lot of Hasidim, because we were in the middle of Borough Park. A lot of people with, the Hasidish Levush and everything. And then you see the Kippas Rugaz and the Litvish Chevra and the this, and just everybody singing together. And it's unbelievable, the feeling of Achtos. Very rarely do you have a Chassid who grows up thinking, Buyan is the best Hasidus in the world. Kalin, only my Rebbe, and my Avodah, the Litvak also thinks he's the only thing, and the Hasidim are making a mistake, then Cheir and this and that, and the Tziyoni doesn't know what he's talking about, and then the Tziyoni thinks the Satmar is a Shaita. But over here you see people, all sorts of Yidden sing together for the purpose of learning Torah. Be'ez Hashem, we're going to repeat it next week in Borough Park, in Muncie, and that. But one Ikuda is that if we could sit there and say, look, we grow up we have different, Shimon, Yehuda, Benyamin, different sects, different types of Yidden. But if we could at least take one good thing out of every type of Yidden, I'll give real mishal. If you look at the Satmar Chas and you say, look at the Satmar guy. Some of them don't even go to the Kaisel, and what's wrong with them, this and that. We have tinus on them, okay? Of course, it comes from the Satmar Rav, the Galadar, but what's wrong with them? He's not like me. I know how to do it, and he doesn't. But you should be jealous of the Satmar Chasid's Chesed. There's no Chesed in the world like Satmar. The amount of tzedakah that they give, and the amount of Aharon Shprintzeles, and the unbelievable, right? And the Satmar Chasid, on the flip side, should look at the guy that's Tziyoni and ask yourself, Satmar Chasid, you with your fancy Lexus and Mercedes. Now they drive Mercedes in America. The Shoah was over a long time ago. Would you give up your life to live in Eretz Yisrael and wear sandals without socks? Never. No, be'emes, Ahavas Eretz Yisrael. I'm not talking about Ahavas Medina. Ahavas Eretz Yisrael. Their love for Eretz Yisrael is Ein L'Shar. And the Chabadsker that calls the Litvak the snag. Do you have Ahavas Torah like him? Do you learn? Do you invest in Torah like the Litvak? And the Litvak looks at him and says, "Hey, you bring Bali Tshuva? Do you stand on the street corner and put on film for other people? Are you able to live in Thailand and Yehupitzville and bring in Archim from all over the world? Never." The kids, if we can learn from each group and take the good and forget the bad and be mikar of one another, we'll be a whole different world. Just happened. We gotta carve the Medarisha guys with the Goyish and Igunim. No, Tinoikish and Ishbu. And all right.
That was so beautiful.
Thank you. Who said tears in his eyes? He has tears in his eyes. Zoom in on him. There's tears in his eyes. All right. Anyway, weiter. Huh? Gut gesagt? In Yiddish. Gut gesagt. Okay, we're staying away from Yiddish these days. All right. Zok the Gemara. I have to tell you that I didn't say this story in a long time. I might have said it once. I got to see the story. As we're on a roll. Listen to this. Mendel, you're going to love this story. I was in a Walmart in upper state New York. I was 19 years old.
What upper state New York?
In the mountains.
Upper state. Like a new place.
The west side, in Monticello, in the Walmart. And I see a frum girl walking with a guy. And the guy had his hand on her shoulder, and I'm like, how is it possible? How are you talking such a thing? I have to step in here and do something. And I take a look at her and I see she's wearing long sleeves, long dress. She might be a guy also, but it's not mistaber. The guy, no yarmulke, jeans. Yeah, I grab a guy. What's pshat over here? I can't. So I'm thinking to myself, what should I do? So I say, you know what? I'm going to go over and say, are you from? Now, if she's a guy, she'll think I'm just asking you if that's her name. She'll say no, and I'll walk away. And if she's from, she'll say yes. And then I'll grab her and run. So I go over there, I say, excuse me, are you from? She says, yes. So I said, what's pshat? What do you do? She goes, He's my father. I'm like, oh, I just wanted to bury myself. So what I'm trying to say is, Lubavitch, they go on the street. They go over to people. Are you Jewish? No, I'm not Jewish. Get out. Like the busha that they have on a daily basis, and they overcome it to be Mekar Yidin Torah, Yiddishkeit. Okay, Zok the Gemara. Yeah, did I ever say that, Maisa?
No. Not an upper state.
It was a different place last time. I don't even know what stuff do we learn now. Okay,
You would have been a good Chabad.
If you fall to a Yid, the Yid is a Yid, no matter what, they're going to have Rachmanas on you. You got to jump at the Rashi real quick for the story here. It's 3 lines into the Mishnah. They destroyed Yehuda. They killed 120,000 of them. Now, the Yisrael, right? It's the Yisrael against Yehuda. Destroyed them, demolished them. 120,000 dead, hundreds of thousands of captives. Now, what do you do with them? So Oidid comes and says, they're your brothers. You can't treat them like just a regular, what is it called, of war? Prisoner or POW. You can't do that. Hashem caused it. Who are you? You think you did it yourself? You want to make them slaves? What are you, crazy? And they ended up feeding them, giving them clothing, even their own clothing off their backs. Here, that's your brother. That's how you treat a brother. Kill them. They were killing each other. No, bro, they wanted to kill me. He probably killed my brother, my father. Who knows who died because of. Now we're going to treat him as a brother. All the ones that were unclothed, they gave him clothing. They gave him shoes, and gave him to drink, anointed, gave him oil, shampoo. Those who couldn't walk anymore, their feet were chopped up in war, gave them a donkey. Go. They brought him back home. But now you're going to the enemy. You should know, that's it, you're going in, and that's it. There's no rachmanas if they capture you. Don't have a soft heart. Altiru, don't fear. There's going to be a lot of noise. They're going to bang swords with each other, scare you with the noise. The shields are going to bang each other. Millions of soldiers marching. It's a very scary sound, very scary noise, a bad matzav. The horns that they whatever it's called. Al tires of what they call tzvachas, and the screaming. If you ever saw how the SWAT team goes into a house, they scream. They have the guns blare, but they scream. Then part of the thing, the tactic is you get the guy with fear. You just koilos ubrachim, shot. Hey, everybody screaming different ways, and that softens the enemy. You don't be scared of those tzvachas. Now, one of the things that the Meshuach Muhammad did was you have to have a clear mind when you go into Muhammad. Did you plant a vineyard? Did you build a house? Did you just get engaged? Any of this, you're out. Go back home, because you have to have a pure mind. Pure mind l'mulchama. And this whole thing, Rabbi say, might be also the way to fight the Yetzer Hara. You got to go in without any distractions, but understand that the Yetzer Hara is no more than a zvuv. Nothing. You go like this, he makes a lot of noise, a lot of tzvachos and this and that. It's all noise. You have to know how to beat him, but to beat him is easy. Flick him away. They're coming with weapons. You're coming with the power of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's going to shoot us into the sugya of Goliath. The Plushim came with Goliath. What's the end? They came with the Gibor Shoivach. He died. You're not like that. Satmar raises his whole Mishnah. I'm kidding, because we have a Satmar in the order. Okay. He doesn't even know what I'm talking about. He never heard this Mishaberach. We come with the Aharon, and that is what saves us. Micah Omar. How do you know it's Lashon Kodesh? It's the same Lashon over there. Who's this person? Maybe it's any kohen. It's the officers. Over there, this part of the things that the shoitrim say, some the Meshuach says. So it was shoitrim that were appointed. The Meshuach Mechama has to be appointed by somebody else. Maybe it should be the greatest person, the kohen gadol. Says Gemara, do me the shoitrim has to be like the officer. Ma shoitrim sheyesh mimun al gabav. Somebody's above him. Av kohen sheyesh mimun al gabav. Nobody's above the kohen gadol. Kohen gadol nami yoikim melech al gabav. This is the king. Right? We had once where the king chopped off the kohen gadol's hands. First is the right, and then he tricked him was the left. He took off both hands. Melech is greater. In the Avodah Beis Hamikdash, there's nobody greater than Kohen Gadol. Be'em is Gan. But he has the deputy Kohen. What do you call him yesterday? Deputy. Says Gemara's Gan, Lavamuna. Says Rashi, this Gan is a nobody. Today he's a nobody. If something happens to the Kohen Gadol, then he becomes a somebody. But he's not a vice president where he has some sort of chashivas, just a little less. He's
an understudy.
Understudy. Okay, understudy. If that means he has no chashivas, fine, I take it.
That's what he is.
Besanyo, Reb Chanina Zgana Kohanim. Reb Chanina himself was a Zgana Kohanim, said, Lom is Gam Emuna. If something happens, then he jumps in. But today, he's garnished. Gdula Shel Klum, says Rashi. V'amar Aleim Shema Yisrael. Maishna Shema Yisrael. Why do we use here in this pasuk the words Shema Yisrael? Omer B'yachim Shum V'yichai. Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael. Afilu L'kiyamtem L'kriyah Shema Shachris V'arvis. Iatem Nimtzorim B'yadam. Even if even if the only thing you do is Shema Yisrael, you mikabel Omach Shemayim in the morning, and in the evening, then the goyim, the enemy, cannot beat you. By the way, real quickly, when I was in Chutz La'aretz just 2 weeks ago, I noticed that to be Mekayim Mitzvah Shema in America is very difficult because they have early minyanim there for Ma'ariv, and even on Shabbos they do Kabbalah Shabbos and Ma'ariv one after another before Zman Kriyas Shema, and the Gabbai announces, please remember to say Kriyas Shema at home. And I was in a place where 90% of the people did not remember to say Kriyas Shema. They counted Sfira, and I said, let's do Shema now. Nobody said it. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and when I left, and I realized nobody said Shema. And I spoke to people. It's like very difficult. In the morning, davening in the morning in America, usually 9 o'clock Shabbos. Who's going to get up before 9 o'clock on Shabbos morning? But this is my Kriya Shema. You got to be careful. It's very difficult. So, Mari Da'ilam, it said Da'i. And if you just do those two things, Shema in the morning, Shema in the evening, and it's all the very, very makbet to make minyanim where the Kriya Shema is in the Zman. That's why all minyanim, 90% of minyanim in Eretz Yisrael are before Zman Kriya Shema, and at night, Friday night, they make sure that there's a speech between Kabbalah Shabbos and Ma'ariv. The makbet on it, because people forget. People want to say it again, but they forget. The Meshuach speaks to the soldiers twice. Achas basfar, v'achas b'mechama. One on the border, one's on the border, and tells them whoever doesn't want to go home now. If you're scared, go. Basfar ma'oimer, what does he tell them? Amud Beis, shimu divrei marchi amelchama, v'chazru or v'chizru. The point is, go home. If you're engaged, you just planted a vineyard, you're scared, or you built a house, we don't need you here. Because the soldiers in those days, it was about Gedusha and having a clear mind and bringing the Rebbeinu Shalom to war. If you're thinking about your kala, your new house, we don't need you here. But in the war, al yerich levavchem, that's one lashon. Don't have a soft heart. Al tiru, v'al tachbezu, v'al. You see the 4 als. That's to warn them, and there's the antidote for the 4 things. They scream and they hoot and they trod, all these things to get you scared. Plishtim bo ben etzchon shel Goliath. Goliath. Why is his name Goliath? Because he had chutzpah HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says Rashi. He says the word chutzpah. Chutz v'da HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shama begilu panim lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu shenemar bru lochem ish v'yered eloi. Get yourself a man who could fight me. Yoshi just did a little thing here, l'kovid Goliath, fight. Nothing, no animation, just to show the size of this human being. He was an enormous human being. I was thinking, Stam as a dugma, I had the privilege to meet Amari Stademeyer. Today his name is Yosef. What's his name? Yosef. He's 6'11". I'm only 6'2". And I thought I have a big hand. His hand was literally inches. It was just, it's scary to stand next to a human being like that. Now, he is nothing compared to Shaq, who's 7'1" and weighs 350. He only weighs 7'1", and he's 6'11", but only weighs 240 pounds. Shaq is 3, all muscle. So man, I mean, and that's in our generation. Then they had larger human beings. You could, even in this generation, if Shaq went like this, that's it. It's all over, dead. No behemoths.
He wasn't the biggest of his brothers. He was the biggest.
Right, we're getting there. Whatever.
Couldn't stop this. Had to do it.
Shama begilu panim lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu shenemar bru lochem ish v'yered eloi. Vein ish el HaKadosh Baruch Hu shenemar Hashem ish muchama. I hear Tomer explaining to the chassid next to him, it's a guy that plays basketball. The next question is, what is basketball? Tomer, am I lying? Were you explaining to him what it is? And Allah Menachem, you don't have to show him a picture of him, please. I know what you're doing in the back over there. I see him over there with the phone. Those who know, those who don't know. He's a tremendous Rebbe, okay? You said Ish, I'm going to give you a young kid. Dovid HaMelech, Ben Ish, not even Ish, a Ben Ish. Shenemar v'Dovid Ben Ish, Efrosi Hazeh, Omer B'yechem Mishum Rebbe Meir, B'shleim Shem Mekomis Levadoi, L'chodoi Piv Sh'Loi Zerosha. His mouth trapped him, that Rosh Goliath. Echad, and Rabbi say, amazing again. I think it's a pella. That again you see this idea that your mouth controls you. What comes out of your mouth could be your downfall or fakert. Here you see again. He said it. It came out of his mouth, and that was his downfall. Now what? It said, Echad. Berulachem ish v'yered eloi. This word of v'yered eloi, that he'll beat me, he'll knock me down. V'idachim yuchal ilachem iti v'yikani, and he'll beat me. He slipped. V'idach d'kamar leila David hakelev anoichi. What are you coming here with your slingshot, with your little stick? What am I, a dog? K'atobar elai b'maklois. Says the Gemara, David Nami Omer le atobar elai b'cherev b'chanis u'v'chidoin. Didn't David HaMelech slip? Says the Gemara, no. In the same pasuk, it's a continuation. You have to understand what he was getting to a point. He was saying, the one who you mevayish, you have chutzpah. He was trying to say, look at you versus me. It's one sentence. He's getting to the end. I'm coming with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're coming with your weapons. It's not you're coming with weapons. Kama. Masha Enkin Goliath, he said, you're coming. That was it. It was the end of the statement. Now also, he continued and he said, I'm going to beat you. Okay, but that's already another sentence. He wasn't trying to contrast, whereas David was contrasting. It's one sentence. So Goliath got up in the morning, in the evening, taunting Klai Yisrael. What was his point in the morning? Because he knew that Kriya Shema is what saves a Yid, and therefore he wanted to get that Kriya Shema out of their system. You could sing if you want, Shema, Shema Yisrael. Okay, we have a different time. I was saying on tune though. That's what I meant. So this is a little bit of a taina against Klai Yisrael. Why did Goliath have the schus to be in front of Klai Yisrael for 40 days? Because had Klai Yisrael begged, it seems like, had Klai Yisrael begged for the Torah and been more pushy about it, more assertive, Hashem, give us the Torah. So Hashem would have given the Torah earlier. The fact that they waited those 40 days is because they weren't from Matan Torah. No, before. From Yitzias Mitzrayim to Matan Torah is how long? Okay. Oh, whatever. 40 days, I think. Vayetze Isha Beinayim Machnes Plishtim. My Beinayim. What's this lashon Beinayim? I have the pasuk here. Oh, I actually have a picture, but if there's a better picture of me and Amari, just to show the size of him. Okay. Nah. Here's the pasuk. Ish habinayim, habinayim. Migas, memarachos. So we're going to talk about these words. My binayim. Omarav, shemevuna, mikol mum. He's built without any flaws. He's a perfect body, a giant human being. Ushmuel Omar, beninish bechav. He had 4 brothers. He was the medium one. He was large, but not as large as the other brothers. The very or some of his brothers. The very Shilo Omar, Shu Osik Binyan. He's tall like a building. His mother, as we're going to see soon, is Arpa. She had relations with 100 men that night, but only one of them was the father. According to Taisus, it's a little bit more interesting, because Taisus holds that he's a combination of all 100 of those men. We have to understand how that works exactly, peace science, etc. But that's what Taisus says. Because she was with 100 men, so he got the genes of 100 different human beings.
The other brothers were also huge.
Okay.
So she was with 100 men.
I don't know what happened there.
It's a one-time thing.
Yeah, but huge and huge. There's huge and there's strong and everything else. He was the guy. Menachem. He was the soldier. It doesn't say his brothers were. He was the top soldier. Huge and best soldier is not the same thing.
Brother fought Avraham.
Okay. The Goliath Shmoi Migas. It says in the pasuk Migas in yellow. Migas. What does Migas mean? It just say Goliath Hagiti. Rav Yosef Shakol Doshim Misimo B'Kigas. She had many relations like a wine press. Ksiv Marois V'Karinon Marochos. If you look at the pasuk here, I put it in red and green, one next to each other. What we don't read is the red. What we do read is the green. It says Mima'arois, but we read it Ma'arachois. Why does it say Ma'arois? What's the point of these caves? Ma'arois, what is it? Rav Yosef Shakol Heru B'Imoy. She had many relations. Ksiv Harafa, Ksiv Arpa. So what's her name exactly? Rav Shmuel Chadama Harpa Harafa Shma V'Lamanikra Shma Arpa Shakol Orphanoisa Ma'acharea. She had relations like a behema. Human beings is panim al panim, and the animal is more panim to the oirif, to the back of the neck. That's the type of person she was. Lamais at the end of the day, because we're coming up upon Shavuos, so just to say the story, Bekitz and Nimrods, it is 8 o'clock. You had Elimelech, an army. They went from Eretz Yisrael because he was stingy, he didn't want to give to the Anim. He went to Moav. And he had 2 sons, Machlon and Kilyon. And they married 2 sisters, Rus and Arpa. We're talking about 2 sisters. They're identical in the way they thought and the way they acted. Rus and Arpa. Non-Jewish. At the end, Elimelech died, and later on, Machlon and Kilyon died. So now you have Naomi, the mother-in-law, and the two daughter-in-laws. And Naomi said, I'm going back to Eretz Yisrael. So the daughter-in-law said, we're going to come with you. She tried to convince him not to come with her. She was embarrassed also. She's going to come with Goyas? These are my daughter-in-laws. Hey, Shalom Aleichem. This cousin and that cousin, well, it's embarrassing. So Arpa said, okay, I agree. I'm not going to come with you. And she kissed her, Shalom, bye. Rus said, no way. I want to be Jewish. I want to be Kabbalah mitzvahs. So Rabbi said, think about it. You're talking about 2 identical sisters, well, identical, but same ashkafa, same everything. One was Makabel mitzvahs. One said, okay, I'm going to stay a guy. And what happened? Rus became Rus, and Dovid HaMelech, Shlomo HaMelech, and Arpa, 100 relations in one night. The lowest of the low to the top of the top. As I state though. V'chad omar Arpa shma v'lo menikra shma harafa shakol doshen oisa kicharifais. That they crush her like wheat. V'cheinu oimer v'tikach hoisha v'tifrois hamasach. It says, take a curtain, al pnei ha'be'er v'tishtach oleh harifais. The kids are this idea of a rafa is a lotion of wheat to crush the wheat. V'bai seim emacha. Im tichteish esehevil b'machteish b'soy harifais ba'eli. V'zar ba'az Eli yuldu laharpa la rafa b'gas v'yiplu b'yad Dovid b'yad avodav ma'niyu. So, and what happened at the end? Rus's children, the Gdaishim, were able to kill those who came out of bad relations. That was his name, Yishbi Benoiv. So you have 4 boys. Safamod and Goliath is one of them. Vayiplu, and they fell. Biad Dovid, biad Avadav, d'chsiv atishak arba l'chamoisa. Arpa kissed her mother-in-law. V'Rus dafka ba, but Rus cleaved to her. Omar Rabbi Yitzchak Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu, Yavayu b'nei haneshuka v'yiplu b'yad b'nei hadvuka. The one who kissed her mother-in-law, or the one that got kissed, okay, interesting lashon, should fall to the one that's davik in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Darash Rava b'schar arba d'may sharida arpa chamaisa. But nevertheless, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was mechashben everything, and she cried twice, and each time she cried from 2 eyes, so it's a total of 4 tears. Zachsa v'yatsu mimeno arba gibayrim. She was like to have 4 giants who could have chosen to go the right path. They didn't. Shenemar v'tisena koilan v'tifkena oid. That's where she cried. Another time. So she cried twice. Ksiv cheitz chanisai v'korin eitz chanisai. Omer v'lazad dayin legan. He used a tree for his spear. He was a giant human being. Omer v'lazad dayin legianu lechatzi shivcha yishalas rasha. That we didn't even say how strong he was and how powerful this person was. You don't talk about it. So says Gemara, if you don't talk about it, so don't explain it at all. Like, do a shivchei de Dovid. David HaMelech, with everything going on, he went to war against him. Should we stop over here? Okay, Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.